everyone, welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing a review, but instead of reviewing a book, I'm going to be reviewing two of the online courses I took at Masterclass. So if you don't know, Masterclass is a website where you can take these online courses from some of the top leaders in each field. So they have a bunch of different categories. They've got writing, they've got film and entertainment, they've got cooking, they've got photography. So all different industries or categories, and some of the leaders in each. So for writing, they've got some best-selling authors who have courses in the writing category. So some people like Neil Gaiman, R.L. Stine, Margaret Atwood, Dan Brown, and many others. So I got the subscription for my birthday last year in October, and I've been taking some classes on there, and I finished two of the writing classes. I took Neil Gaiman's class and R.L. Stine's class, so I thought I would do a quick review for you guys in case anyone's interested in Masterclass or in these specific courses. So I'll start with Neil Gaiman's class. So Gaiman's class, he's got 19 lessons in his course, and each of the lessons range from about 15 to 20 minutes on average. Some are a little bit longer, some are a bit shorter. I think the longest one is like 25 minutes, and then the shortest is like 8 minutes. So they kind of range, but on average about 15 to 20 minutes per lesson. And like I said, there are 19 lessons. So he goes through, and I'll have the list of each of the lessons on the screen here. But he goes through, there's the introduction. He talks about truth and fiction, sources of inspiration, finding your voice, developing the story. Then he has a case study that he goes through with his book, The Graveyard Book. And then the next lesson is short fiction, and then he's got another case study on a short fiction called March Tale. So he has that case study, and then the next lessons are dialogue and character, and then there's another case study that he does for dialogue and character on a story called October Tale. And then he goes into world building, descriptions, humor, genre, comics, dealing with writer's block, editing, rules for writers, and the writer's responsibilities. So those are the 19 lessons he goes through. I really enjoyed Gaiman's course. I loved his approach to writing, and I feel like I relate a lot to his approach or his philosophy, especially when he talks about, like the truth in fiction and being honest in our writing. And I love that he gave us examples, like each of the case studies. He gave us examples in his own work of how he's done, whatever it is he talked about in the lesson before. So I thought that was really cool too. And I also feel like his lessons are a bit more broad, which I like. It wasn't very much like, okay, this is how I do things, this is how I write, and you should try to write this way as well. So he gives us tips and stuff on these, world building and description and all this stuff, but he doesn't tell you how to do it, if that makes sense. which I like and was something that was kind of different from R.L. Stine's course, which I'll get to that in a minute. But overall, I really enjoyed Gaiman's course. I would definitely highly recommend it. I finished this course, but I'm still like going back and rewatching certain lessons and stuff. So, and each of these courses do have like workbooks that they come with, where you have notes from each of the lessons. So that helps as well. So now getting into R.L. Stine's course. So R.L. Stine is a middle grade and YA horror writer. And so his lessons are, he has 28 lessons in his course. So he has more lessons, but they are much shorter. His lessons average about 10 minutes each. Again, like I said, some are a little bit longer, some shorter, but on average, it's about 10 minutes for each lesson. And I don't know if that's because he's used to a younger audience, like middle grade YA, and they have shorter attention span, so he makes the. I don't know, but either way, I enjoyed that they were pretty short 10-minute lessons, because then even if I don't have a lot of time during my day, I can still get through at least one or two lessons in his course. So I did like that. So with R.L. Stine's course, his lessons, which again I'll put up on the screen, are introduction, the idea story, other rich sources of ideas, getting from idea to plot line, outlining surprise endings and cliffhangers, outlining plot twists and tricks, and then he has an outline case study. And the case studies are in the workbook as well, part of the notes in the workbook, so you can see the outline, how he does it. And then the next lesson was Kids Are the Best Audience, writing for different age levels. Another case study comparing YA and middle grade books. The Key to Scary Writing, point of view. How to hook readers right away. How to scare your readers. Making monsters. Dialogue and prose style. Mixing horror and humor. Creating middle grade characters, creating YA characters, having fun with their first draft, revising and getting feedback, developing a book series, borrow from your influence, writing as a career, promoting yourself, combating writer's block, and developing routines, 20 story ideas for you, exercises to get you going, and the conclusion. So those are all the lessons in his course. Now with Stine's course, I felt like it was kind of the opposite in Gaiman's in a lot of ways. And at first when I started his course, it seemed very much like his was more of the, this is how I do things, this is how I write, and you should try to write this way as well. It seemed like he was trying to get you to write a specific way. But towards the end of his course, he does acknowledge that there are all different types of writers and there are many different approaches to writing. And so, he does talk about like how he has to write very linear, from beginning of the story to end, and he has to have an outline. And he has another writer friend who doesn't write with an outline, and his wife even, who's a writer as well, she is not like the linear writer. She writes all over the place. She'll write some scenes in the middle and then go back to the beginning and jump around. which is why they couldn't write together. He said they've tried and like they couldn't write together because they're very different approaches. So I'm glad that he did acknowledge that, although I wish he would have said that more towards the beginning of the course, because like I said in the beginning, it did feel like he was trying to get you to write a certain way or write his way. But I am glad he does acknowledge that there are different ways to writing, and at the end he says, this is my way, this is how I do it. You can try it and see if it works for you. So I like that he acknowledged that. I just wish he would have said it earlier on in the beginning. Now, while I don't have the same approach to writing as R.L. Stine does, like I said, he's very much a hardcore plotter, very detailed outlines. I am not at all. Like, I've only just started plotting a little bit. I've always been more of a pantser. And again, he writes very linear from beginning, middle, end, and I am like all over the place. I'll write the beginning scene and then I'll jump to the end and then I'll go back to the middle and back to the beginning. So I'm not linear at all. So even though my approach is very different than Stine's, I feel like, there's always something we can take out of each course, whether, no matter how different we are or how different our approach is. I always think there's something we can still learn and get from other writers. So I would still recommend his course. And he did have some good tips in there that I want to give a try. Like, one of my favorite advice that he gave was for combating writer's block. He talks about how he has a goal of 2,000 words a day, but he'll always stop right in the middle of a scene or a chapter whenever he hits his goal. Like, as soon as he hits his goal, he'll stop in the middle of the chapter or the scene, no matter, where he's leaving off. Because then, when he comes back to it the next day, it's much easier to pick it back up and start off from the middle of the chapter than to try to start from, the beginning. So that was one piece of advice he gave that I was like, I'm gonna try that. I kind of like the idea of like, what's gonna happen in the scene, so kind of stopping in the middle and then picking up the next day where you left off because you know what's gonna happen next. So I think I'm gonna try that and see how well that works out for me. I'm pretty sure I've done it like maybe once or twice before, especially like during NaNoWriMo. I think I've done that where I ended up stopping in the middle of a scene and then next time I went back to it, picked up from there. So, and it did seem to work out pretty well, so I think I'm going to continue trying to do that and see how I like that. Because most of the time, I usually don't stop in the middle of the scene. I usually try to finish out the scene or the chapter and then stop. But I think I'm going to try this way and see how I like it. So I did like that advice. I also liked the exercises he gave in this course for you to try. He gave like 10 or 20 different exercise ideas. And And so I really liked some of those and I want to try them. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. Like I said, I still, even though his approach is way different, I'd still recommend it. But just go into his course knowing that he talks about a lot about how he does certain things. So it may or may not work for you. So just go into it knowing that. But yeah, I think that's it. Those are the two courses I took. I am taking more classes on Masterclass. I'm going to take some more of the writing classes right now. I'm actually taking a script writing class from Shonda Rhimes, who, wrote How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal and Grey's Anatomy and stuff. So I'm taking her script writing class, and I'm taking a few other classes right now. I do plan on taking non-writing related classes as well. So let me know in the comments below if you want to see reviews of those classes, non-writing and writing related. Let me know if that would be helpful, if you would like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, if you have a Masterclass subscription and you've taken classes on there, let me know what was your favorite class, because I do want to take pretty much all the classes I can take, but let me know what some of your favorite ones are, and maybe I'll check them out sooner rather than later. So that's pretty much it for this video. I will see you guys soon with another one. Bye!